Hey everyone, whether you're working with us because we're building websites for you or because you're getting backlinks from us, I want to walk you through something real quick just to help show the idea of how much power we can create for your website. So here's website-installer.com. I've said in other videos we have a domain rating of 75 on this website, which is huge. How did we earn that? Well, we have a lot of websites that are quality pointing in at us and pointing in at the sites that point in at us. And if I scroll down, I can show you better. Take a look at this. So here are websites down here, right? And any one of these, if I hit live demo, it'll actually open, okay? It is a website. It is a full, solid website that's been written well. It's got a lot going on it because, you know, we have all our controls, right? So having said that, okay, if I go down, there are a lot of websites here, okay? Not all of them backlink the main website, but they backlink through each other. However, since website-installer is, what do I want to say? Okay, I mean, I could stop and just show, but why am I doing that? So website-installer is a website development company and makes websites. Then Google totally gets that. It's used to it, right? So even all the way down here, just say, you know, showing you from one end to the other, right? That it's all set up. It's really going on. Yeah, I'm moving so fast. It's funny. So here's the thing. When we make a lot of these websites, we put them out. We can make adjustments to them over the course of time. So one adjustment we might make, because we're a website development company, is to take proper credit for the websites we got. See down here, copyright, all rights reserved. Click here to view sitemap and disclaimer, right? Okay, now let's say I wanted to insert something into here, or I want to change it or whatever. I can do something like that, and I'll just show you the very simplest way that would work right now. In our PowerHorse system, I might paste in a bunch of websites that are ready for this because I went through them and I understand what they need to have in their footers, and I'm ready to paste in what I want to use for the copyright for them. So I prepared it, okay? There you go. Basic HTML code. Either you know it, or you would ask GPT to tell you how to do it, or you would ask us and we would tell you, or you would look on another website and check out the view source code and check out the coding, and you would see how to do something like this. And you could just check it out on your own. But take a look. I got this in here. You know, it's a copyright from 2015 to 2024. All rights reserved. Website made with love by. And guess what? I got a clickable link that goes to our website. Could I put a rel equal no follow in here? Yeah, I could. I could put rel equal, you know, no follow. And I got to make sure to use my escape characters, okay, because I'm doing this sort of in a SQL query way. All right, no big deal. It's just a matter of understanding it. And when you're working with us, what I'm saying is we're doing this work. And then I would do it here too. But here's the point. I would hit update. Guess what it would do? It would update the footer of every one of those websites, which of course, since it's a footer, covers every page on every one of those websites. So all of a sudden, thousands of pages now have links to two places. One is Website Installer, and the other is Theme to HTML. Now, what if I don't want to know follow everything? Fine, I'll split this into two groups. Okay, I'll do like, you know, how many do I want to do? That's kind of a weird bar there. How many do I want to do with no follow? How many do I want to do with follow? Okay, the websites aren't in a particular order, not from Google's point of view. So it's not like it's seeing a stack and then a stack. Google doesn't. I mean, we're doing it that way. Google doesn't see it that way. But we can do any combinations we want with any arrangement of websites we want. And so we can lay this out. And we can make it different for stacks too. I could take out the on behalf of themed HTML for some. I could take out the made by website installer for others. You know, I could just leave it made by theme to HTML.com since it's kind of the same thing. Both those websites have everything to do with our CMS and what we do here. Okay. But the point is, I can mix and match how I wish those links onto all those sites. And what's that mean? All of these sites that we've been going through here, right, all of a sudden are necessarily giving us credit. Now, some websites are, some websites aren't, some websites are giving other websites credit, but guess what? I can make the links all lead to us to improve our DR. Having said that, what are the caveats? We think this. wait a minute, Google's going to see too many links pointing into your website at the same time. Let me walk through the devil's advocate of that through a couple of steps, because there are a few steps to that. And the first one is this. If I look at any one of those websites and I wanted to check the sitemaps, because this is mostly what Google's doing with these sites, right? They're accessing the sitemap.xml file, okay? Well, we have a last mod, right, which is the last time the page was modified. So that when Google lands, before it even crawls the site, before it even looks at the pages and follows the URLs, it goes here. And it checks to see if we have the last mod element, which we learned to add to our sitemaps. And by doing that, it can scan really fast for any pages that have independently changed since the last time it checked. Okay? Now, say it still sees everything's 209. Do you know why? Because the changes for last mod are affected by making changes to the page contents, not the footer. The footer, changing the footer will not change the last mod date. So we are not all of a sudden updating all of these last mods. If we were, if every page was last mod updated on one website, Google would say, oh, giving credit to website installer. I got it. Now, if it's another website and another all at the same time, then it's still okay because there are websites. We get to lay claim to them. They're footer links. But if I was trying to do the same thing with links and I was doing it in the paragraphs, I would not do all those websites at once. I would do them in sets. I would spread it out over some weeks, right? Now, having said that, because that's a lot of sites, you don't want a lot of sites suddenly pointing into you. But I could also do tiered backlinks through all the sites, and I could do this in stacks, except I'm doing this as footer links, so I don't care. I can suddenly put it on all of these websites. It's like visitor tracking. 100 people might sign up to StatCounter every day and grab a code and stick it in all the pages of all their websites, and Google's going to see that, and they're going to see the notation pointing back to StatCounter. Everybody has one of those. Live chat agents have a link back to them. Invisible trackers have a link back to them in the invisible code, right? Everybody's got something like that in their tool that you can add to your website, right? That's how they get credit and how they show up for what they do best because they are in use, right? Google should count that. Now, in the footers, Google's not so worried about what shows up there, but it'll give credit where credit's due. So it's totally okay if I suddenly ran that through all those sites. The only reason I wouldn't, some of those sites have terms that are specific to that website that I want to leave there. Some sites have disclaimers or privacy policies that are particular to their websites. I don't want to just suddenly overwrite all of that with my own twist on this. I want to be careful to go through each set of sites and accommodate this coding to include the proper links for terms, disclaimer, privacy policy that applies to each of those sets of websites, right? In whatever order we're doing them. Okay, I think that makes sense. Now, having said that, what's the next step? The next step is, so just playing devil's advocate through the layers. Yes, I can do it because it won't show up on the last mod, but Google bots are still going to go pouring through the site. So are they going to see too many too fast? They might, which brings us back to, but they're footer links. They don't count so much because they're footer links, but they do give us credit for what we do best. So we get to show up for what we do best to the degree we want to. And we don't want that here because it means we have to create a lot of pages. And we don't want to create a lot of different pages because we're not trying so much to sell the templates on here. We haven't been doing that for a while. We've been doing professional services for everybody because we find that most people don't know all the stuff they need to know about SEO to make websites on their own, even though our websites are easier to use. But the other part of it is we keep creating new tools, and when we do, we incorporate them into our workhouse system. But we don't keep updating the independent themes with all of the new functionality as it applies to each admin panel, because it's just double the load of work and a lot more programming. We just haven't done it. So it's easier for us to use the remote control tools and adjust everyone's websites from the outside and let them get the services from us because we can ensure to do it right. That's why we created the page details. So when we're done making a bunch of steps happen on a website, we can download the page details and go column by column and make sure that everything makes sense, right? And that we got everything, that we didn't miss anything, right? So we can ensure quality control, okay? And that's cool. All right, so we've been leaning in that direction for a long time. I might make it, like if enough people showed interest in wanting to get templates for themselves, then if there were enough orders coming in, like 100 orders for templates in a short period of time, then I could set some programmers on the task of actually updating those templates for all the buyers, right? I don't know. Comment down below if you're interested in something like that. We'd probably be selling the templates. I don't know. I'd have to assume that there's enough buyers to make it work. If I were to sell the templates for like $150 each, right? And we got 100 orders, that would be like 15 grand. And that's the kind of money that would help us get a chunk of this stuff done inside the admin panels. Believe it or not, it's expensive. Coding costs a lot when it has to be thought through because there is no model we can pluck it from. We have to create it. And we do. We always have to create it and then check for bugs or listen to your feedback and then go and update it. So it's lots and lots of man hours. But I don't know. If you guys are showing enough interest, I mean, comment below. If there's like 100 people want to get independent templates for themselves off of Website Installer, because this thing was built so you can fill out the order form and choose a domain name if you don't already have one. And it'll literally install the website for you in minutes. And then you can like log in as soon as the SSL cert kicks in, you know, and says that you're safe to visit the website. Now, usually within 24 hours, usually within an hour, usually within 15 minutes, sometimes within 5. Then boom, you're in, right? And what can you do? Whatever you want. I mean, we got videos that talk about how to use it, but not just that, it's pretty intuitive to use. Once you start clicking around in there, you just answer your own questions really fast. It's quite efficient. So I don't know. If you guys are interested in doing that kind of thing on your own, let me know. Every time I offer it, I'm surprised how lackluster the interest tends to be. I think people are just not really feeling like they can do it as much as they would rather we did it for them. Okay, having said that, we're trying to accommodate everyone for everything all the time, and the best way we can do that is sheer automation, right? But the fact that we can make websites that are like 99.5% ready to rank, and many will rank on their own, and whatever isn't ranking just needs a kick in the butt because it's not you versus Google, it's you versus your competitors. So sometimes you really do need to put a couple of citation listings out there, directory listings out there. Just go list your name, address, phone on a couple of websites that'll allow it. List yourself in a couple directories. I've had people say, how in the world do you find that? Oh, it's really simple. Take your industry and just type industry with directory in it. Say it's, I don't know, work from home jobs, okay? Go list yourself with your name, address. Make sure there's a clickable link to your website. Make sure you name yourself wherever you can with some of these things. Many of these will even allow like add your listing, right? And you could put it like this, add your listing, okay? And you could probably go or add listing or add business listing, you know, or add business, right? And no, I haven't done the search. But here you go, list your business, online business directory, right? Many of these are free. And if you actually add yourself to some that have some kind of stats that are halfway reasonable, then as long as Google eventually indexes the page you're on, you know, it'll show up as a backlink that you satisfied in a directory or in a citation or on a forum post in your signature or whatever, right? Or in a social media post. So sometimes you just need to do some of those arbitrary oddball things because Google sees your competitors are getting some of that and they kind of expect you to get some too, just to perfect the naturalness of the entire job you've done to make yourself rank. And what happens is when you fill in whatever those gaps are that they've established and don't tell you, you have to discover them, then all of a sudden, whap, you take a big step up. You go from nothing to a lot real quick. because you were brimming already. All the stuff was done. Schema, table of contents, interlinks, external authority links, cross links, all the stuff that should be happening. The pages are great. It's all topical authority, minimizing niche cap. I mean, it's all the stuff we do. And we have in a checklist, so we make sure we do it right. Delete bad pages from your sitemap so they don't gum up the good pages. Replace them with good pages. I mean, we build all this stuff so it works. Add the attributes for the URLs. Add the attributes for the images. We build it all into our automation. So when you're working with us, that's the point. We can make everything on the websites great. And if there is any reason they're not still ranking, then it's some small thing like that. And we don't do that in-house. But our next step, once we're done with our automation, is to absolutely look for a couple of partners to, so that as we go through stats on websites, we can determine if we should do some of that. And some of the partners who are good at like social media postings, good at the forum posting, citations, directories, we'll tell them just do a few. Don't go crazy. We don't need spam. We just need to fill in the gaps. Do enough to get it caught by Google. And then let's go back and check the stats. And sure enough, we're going to get a whap sooner or later because our websites are great. All right. Having said that, I think you get the point. So the other point I want to mention, I've had people say, well, what if Google comes and sees a bunch of links all at the same time? First of all, they probably won't because they don't index all the pages every day, right? Some of those websites are more popular than others. Some of those websites have more pages than others. If I put a link at the footer, it's on every single page. If I'm doing, like cross links, external authority links, linking out, it won't be on every page of the website. It'll be on whichever pages there's a keyword match. So it'll be on like page, 37 and again on 42 and again on 61 and again on 79. But Google's not indexing, checking them every single day, right? So if Google's just combing through pages, it'll see different things at different times naturally, except if that's where we're putting our stuff is directly into the content, not the sidebars, okay? Because we could add widgets for external links, interesting reading, more reading materials elsewhere, or authority websites, and that could be in the sidebars, a new widget. We can actually make that like tomorrow, okay? Then what? Then then it doesn't affect the last mod update in the sitemap.xml file. Because see, if we do it just in the contents of the pages, then the last mod update is a clear telltale date timestamp of that when that update happened to that page. So I don't want all my websites showing that same date for the updates, even if Google doesn't see that for many days at a time, because that would be a telltale giveaway. So what I would do in that case, if I'm trying to do cross-linking through paragraphs of pages and I'm trying to point lots of websites at one website, then I had better space the timing out. I'd better do a few a day, skip a couple of days, do a couple of extras on a day, just for the heck of it. I just have my schedule to get through 100 over the next, week, 2 weeks, say 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, and just do a few here, a few there. Google loves seeing the realness of it. They even start giving you bumps just for the realness effect of it, right? Our automation allows us to very patiently and conveniently do that. I can put a list of 100 domains I want to cover. I can decide to group them. I can go 11111, 222, 33, 4444444, 5, 6666, so that I have different numbers. And then that would be when I'm going to put up each group. Then I could put a schedule. Monday, do group 1. Wednesday, do group 2. Thursday, do group 3. Saturday or Sunday or Monday, squeeze in group 4, something like that. Does that make sense? So all that kind of thing can be very easy to accomplish in a huge stack all at once. How's that for nuts? So just showing you the power that we have to automate and the fact that we are brimming to be able to just pound out the best websites with the largest scale, with the least manual effort ever. So I mean, I'm not seeing that anywhere. I see no tools that can automate updates on hundreds of websites, thousands of pages properly, right? Every time I see anything, it's a cookie cutter effect that causes a problem. But our stuff is built so we don't have that. It's only cookie cutter where it should be, like adding a link in the footer should be the same on every single page. Adding visitor tracking into the pages should be the same on every page. But if I wanted to, I could selectively apply different tracking to different stacks of pages in case I've got I want to track the commercial stuff over here, residential stuff over there, emergency stuff over there, And so I would literally set up 3 different tracking projects for that. Or if I want to track differently per metro area, I could set up different tracking and apply them to the different metro areas, okay? Because we've got tags of all kinds in our pages and we can always add new tags. That way we can always say, where city equals this, use that tracking. Else, where city equals that, use this tracking. Else, where city equals that, use that tracking. Where city equals that or that or that or that, use this tracking. Else. So I think you get the idea. That's the benefit of working with us, is the fact that we can make better websites than anyone right now, and we can make them harder and stronger and better and faster and everything right now with all the pieces built in right now. Okay, so if you're interested in any projects with us, let me know. Otherwise, check out professional services to give yourself an anchor, a direction that makes some kind of sense. Got any questions about whether it's the right fit for you, or if you want me to just check out your website and tell you what I see? Let me know. Okay, we are really ramping everything up. I'm filling in gaps for all the projects that haven't been finished yet with the latest tools. We just finished the schema automation for pages that already exist yesterday. And I am just able now to run that and cross-linking through all the projects so that I can create the layered tiers. And I haven't been able to do all that properly before because we had other pieces we wanted to make sure to get in a place. Like with our page markers, the fact that we make sure that we line this stuff up right. Now we have it, and it's working. All the bugs seem to be gone with these latest pieces, and the fact that we track them with our pages detail columns to make sure we did all the steps. It's been a lot of work, man, but I think we make better websites than anyone in the US right now. And we can make more websites that are better than anyone in the US right now at once. And therefore, we're cheaper in the sense that the amount that you would have to pay someone to do one website. I watched a guy price SEO for a year for their website over $100,000. The guy can pay like $10,000 a month, okay, $8,000 a month, something like that. That, believe it or not, is normal for big projects where guys want to try to take over and become the #1 guy in their region for their industry, right? And literally paying $100,000 to get that done is not weird. They're going to make 200, 300, 400, 500,000 out of it. So it's worth building it up. And it's not going to pay back for quite a while because, it takes time for the typical site to get where it's going. But we're doing a lot of sites at once, and we are now capable of doing all these pieces in such an automated way. When I watched a guy price like $100,000, it's not arbitrary. He's saying, okay, it's going to be $40 of work per page because we have to put, 15 minutes per page in, because website guys charge, $100 an hour if they're average but reasonable. $150 if they're a little better. For manual work, we should be charging $250 an hour now, except that we're not charging by the hour. We're saying these are the projects we do. If you're willing to fit within the way we do our projects, then it's just a project cost. And we can keep it pretty cheap because the less we have to discuss, except for getting it figured out in the beginning, the better, right? It's easier to discuss once, let us do it our way, and then in the end, just check and clean up anything that's off, or something like that. And so in the beginning, we'll just ask, what do you do? What don't you do? How is it done? What does it cover? Okay, let us do our job. That's efficient, right? And then we can get it done. And then we can fill in gaps as we go. All right, having said that, that's the point. You can give me a call. You can contact me on Skype. You can shoot me an email. And yeah, we'll go through this stuff and get you taken care of as soon as I get a chance. I've been spinning a lot of plates lately, but I kind of got back on first shift again. And I'm just raring to go. All right, talk to you soon.